All right, Laura, this is the big day, the day we actually let you judge us in our home. All right, inside. As soon as we walk in, we have the staircase up there, and then it flows through into the living space. What's your thought?
Yeah, so anytime you enter into the space, the first observation is what do you see immediately in front of you, and in your case, to the sides. So you do have what's called sweeping energy. The idea here is that you want to make sure that the flow of energy is going to be evenly distributed. So right now, could we take a look at the office just to see?
Oh, if it has a positive.
If it has a positive pull.
Okay, so listen, before I take you to the office, let me just explain. I have a lot of stuff from on the road when we've been filming on the road that's here, and I typically don't have a space that looks like this.
Okay, so that's obvious, right? The first thing is to declutter and organize. And since this is your primary space, let me ask you, when it's organized, do you spend a lot of time in here, or do you go someplace else to work? Or
no, I think just because of my work sort of is in different houses all the time, and a lot of times it's in different cities. So my office is really on the road on my phone.
So then what are some thoughts for that particular office? It's not really being utilized in that way.
I did have originally, these are the blueprints from the house. And so originally we had them on that wall. However, now we're going to do with some of the antiques and our swords and whatnot. We're going to be putting some of those up here as an antique wall.
I have to say the office, when I did see some of the photos, that was one of my favorite rooms because it commanded such a strong presence. And now that I'm seeing you guys are about to put up, what were those, swords or something?
We do have swords, and it's my Scottish history.
Now, the reason I'm very excited about this because the area of your house, this is the Northwest, and the Northwest is basically dedicated to the primary element of metal. So anything that has metal, even the statue of the medieval guy, that all works really well in that area. And just a side note, anytime we have the front entrance, we always recommend you have something that protects the front entrance. So you actually have literal statue.
I have the ultimate. I mean, both of these guys, superheroes, knight in shining armor. Grab that sledgehammer, Linda, between the two.
Oh, yeah, here.
There you go. So we can have the two of them or Linda with a giant sledgehammer.
Oh, that is awesome.
I think I'm the strongest of the three.
So what about the entry? I mean, if we're talking about, you said the flow when you come in here. So
what's sweeping energy? What do you mean by that?
Okay, yeah. So the sweeping energy is essentially saying the energy comes into the home through the front door in this case, and it's not being grounded because you guys have basically 4 different directions it's going. It's going up the stairs, down the hallway, into the living room, and then into the office.
Okay.
So what we want to do is look at the 2 side rooms, primarily the living room and the office, and make sure they are established in a grounded presentation. That way you have a way to mitigate the energy and it's slowing down versus just speeding up all the time. Right now we're looking in the living room. We look for another way to define this using interior design terms is a focal point. What are the focal points within the room? Right now the office is just chaotic with lots of different focal points. But in the living room, the mirror, for example, is a huge focal point. And just based on the position of the mirror, because I think if you look at the mirror, does it actually reflect into the office at all? Or
I guess it depends on where you're looking.
If you're Linda's height, no, you can't see the office. But the thing is, that mirror is actually the TV, because we don't like to have a TV as a part of the design, so it kind of hides it. But if you want to turn on the TV, it comes through the mirror.
That is awesome. I approve that so much.
And that's Laura approved. And also the
Approved.
fireplace is original. When we did the renovation, we tried to captivate or capture and keep any of the original history and charm. So that original firebox is from when the house was built in the 20s as well. The railing in the front entry, this is original to the house. The door, we had this refurbished, so the door is original.
Interesting. I really love that you are bringing up the history of the house, and that you guys actually were able to honor some of the original design aspects and architects. That's huge because that then goes back into that conversation of predecessor energy, and we do believe that a home has a soul and a spirit. So that's a way of honoring it and connecting back to it. So that's super exciting. I applaud that too. I don't have much to say with the kitchen, except that yes, it has a really beautiful movement around the whole area. I do see there's one thing, but it's pretty.
Okay.
You can mitigate it. We have the stove across from the sink. The stove is going to be fire element, and the sink will be water. Now, the way to mitigate it is you can introduce earth, which you have. It looks like, what is the counter space made of?
The countertop?
Yeah, countertop. Not
The countertop is quartz, so it's a man-made product, a zero maintenance product.
Okay, so then here we are, earth element, basically all over the place. So that can help mitigate these two elements together, so they're not conflicting anymore.
So if that is a conflict, I think that most dreamers in a kitchen, they want to have a pot filler right above the range. So you got water right over top of the range.
Interesting. Okay. Yes.
But then it's surrounded by the stones.
Yeah. So we feel better about that.
Exactly. And you have a pretty solid kitchen in its presentation, the material that's being used. And of course, one of the things I really love is all that natural light with the windows. And just, do you guys, since you have all that natural light, are you able to kind of have your own indoor garden at all, or?
We do have it. We'll show you upstairs.
Outside.
Yeah.
So I have some really sad looking green onions sitting there right now.
Yeah.
That I've forgotten to water.
Down in the kitchen here, this is the only garden thing that we have.
Oh,
It's
no.
one little tiny thing of chives.
Okay, should we take a look at the bedroom now?
Can I go up? Well, I think before we go to the bedroom, I want to show you Linda's messiness.
Wait, what?
Everybody gets a turn.
Yeah, exactly. This is Linda's poured space. It's a chaotic mess.
Yeah.
What vibe does this bring to the house?
This is so when I was looking at different images, I mentioned to Drew, I was like, this is the only room I kind of ran away from. I was like, I'm just gonna ignore it for now. So, but there is such a thing as creative chaos. So Linda, how often do you spend time in this room, or
Burrowed into this room?
Yeah.
Now, the past several months, I haven't. At the beginning of the pandemic, I did clean it up, and it was amazing. I could see all of the floor space. The table space was cleared
For a week.
for about a week or two, and then as we started cleaning up the rest of the house, I started throwing things into this room because I was like, oh, that's a craft room thing.
Let me ask you, just kind of thinking a little bit in the future, as we do that often in the world of Feng Shui, what would you, or who would you like to share this room with?
So in the near future, I've always imagined it as doing sewing parties in here, or having sewing parties in here.
Okay.
That's why I cleared off the table space. I have my mom's old sewing table.
This is pretty cool.
Set up.
That's an old sewing table from when Linda was a little kid.
You can't really see it because everything is covering it, but it's an old sewing table. So that's near future. But beyond that, I would love to turn this into a nursery. So it would not look like this.
Okay, so Yes, that's what I was thinking when I first saw the craft room, and I was like, you guys have to start nesting and preparing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here is our bedroom suite.
Nice. Yes.
So, what do you
Yeah.
think? Anything we should change? This is our fun corner.
Yeah, I
Guitars
love
and
that.
board games and reading. Lots of good reading.
Good stuff. Yeah, I mean, just pointing out a lot of things that are working. Obviously, you have a commanding position of the bedroom entrance, so that's excellent. A solid wall behind you guys, so that also adds to that support. Solid headboard, 2 side tables. You guys have like the most ideal setup pretty much, which is great.
Actually, here, we need help with this though, by the way.
What?
We just over here, so we swapped out the dresser over here and then the art piece we took down, so we have to fill this wall. What do you think? What's good art to have in a bedroom?
And I mean, anything artwork wise that relates to unity, pairs, working together. Some people might be very literal in this translation and actually have a huge photo of themselves and put that on the wall. I'm not saying do that, that's optional though. You guys are in the world of art, so you can interpret, how do we want to interpret our relationship, either through abstract artwork, through the display of certain animals. This becomes a very personal conversation. Like, for example, my go-to animal, which many people might not like, are wolves, but they mate for life. So I'm looking at it from that perspective. Or you can do birds, hummingbirds, or what have you, you know. Here it is, the amazing bathroom.
We like the idea of the centered freestanding tub and
Mhm.
his and hers vanities.
Yes. And one of my other favorites is that you actually have the toilet tucked away into
Oh,
a
yeah.
separate room, which is awesome.
Yeah, I also think that that's how you keep romance in a relationship. We'll show you our one last little space. This really is our Zen space. This is what brings that positive energy for us. Anytime we need just to unwind,
Uh-huh.
where we go.
Get some extra sunlight.
As you come up, there's some nice light hit that comes in from outside on the balcony, but we have this beautiful piece of art. It's photography by a friend of ours.
Nice.
Kitty Holland is her name.
And then up here, this is a collapsible window wall. So this opens right up to the outdoor space. And then up here, it's just where we relax, do our yoga.
Yeah, this is a beautiful space. And is that a mirror with a triangular?
Yeah. So we followed the roof line. This is the west side over here. It's following the roof line.
Excellent. This room works really well, especially with the mirror. So whenever you're looking into the mirror, whatever it sees, it has the potential to positively double the energy or negatively double the energy. In your case, you're doing all this wellness, all this grounding. So all this energy is being captured and then projected back out into the room, which is really awesome.
I'm glad you got a chance to look at the house. So in the end, overall, what would you say? Needs a lot of work?
So much work, my God.
Especially the office and the craft room.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just those 2 rooms, but you can also say, well, there's the potential of what's coming, essentially. So there's a bit of chaos before something else arrives, and there you go. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to walk through. It's definitely
thank
insightful
you.
for us.
Yeah, thanks for having me and letting me see your beautiful home. I greatly appreciate it, and everything. I'm probably gonna cry just
Aw.
being invited on the show.
Oh, you're so sweet.
I know.
Don't make me cry.
Now Linda's gonna cry, but no, we really love what you do and how you inspire people to really have the best possible energy in their home, and you are such an amazing energy. So we appreciate you helping the world.
Thank you.
Yeah, you really add more meaning into home designs.
I didn't mean to cry. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Virtual hugs.
I cry all the time, and as soon as I see someone cry, I'm like, oh no.
I'm gonna hug Linda for you. There, this is our hug to you.
Thank
All right.
Thank you so much.
Bye. All the best.